Oh, anyway, I started recording now. I've got to start recording. I don't know who David L is. I don't know who Gary. Ah, here's Bruce. Bruce and Jill. Yes, yes. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, very good.
Hi.
G'day,
Hello
g'day.
there.
Yeah.
Hello, other people.
God, you sound like you're half a world away there, Jill.
Yeah, it feels like it too.
But is the microphone a little bit weird, is it?
No, you're fine. I was just being silly. Just to get a joke
Oh,
about half a world away.
Yes.
Oh, you're too
Yes,
clever.
yes.
Yes, you're too clever.
Anne Ball. Do I know you, Anne? Where do I?
You do,
Your
Wayne.
face
How
looks
are
familiar.
you?
Oh, Anne Valentine. You've
Yeah,
Anne
I
Ball. That's
generally-
what fooled me. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's a regular Humfall. Very good.
Hello,
Yeah.
Anne. Hi.
Oh, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah. It's different doing this Zoom bit, isn't it?
Takes a bit of getting used to, yes.
I love Zoom. I do Zoom every day, but it's different at Hump. That's all.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
not what
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's
Hello,
other,
Martin. Do I know you, Martin, from somewhere? Do you want to unmute and introduce yourself, Martin?
Oh.
There we go.
Hello, I thought I was on Les Barker's Zoom one.
You
Am I
are.
not?
Wow.
You are. He's
Okay.
he's just,
I'm from England. We just
Yes,
woken up,
I
so
could tell that from your accent. Well, good morning. Good morning.
so we're a bit bleary-eyed at the moment.
There's
Hi, Bruce
Alistair.
and Jill.
Alistair Brown.
Alistair, how are you?
Yeah. Hi, Alistair. I saw you
Hello.
at Hump.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Who's going to pop up?
I remember you more than you remember me. Yeah.
So many faces.
Oh.
And we've got a Di and Gary. We can see the top of the head of Di and Gary. Just the bare top.
Mm.
Who is Di and Gary? Do I know you, Di and Gary? Or are you from England or Australia or where?
From Lincolnshire,
Ah,
UK.
well, you probably have been
Right.
to Humpole then. You haven't been to Humpole. Never mind.
Goodness me,
This
there's
is what I love about Zoom. You meet people from all over the world.
Absolutely. You must come to Humpole if you come to
Yeah.
Sydney, Di.
That means
Come
you
and
will
visit
talk
us.
to you.
And you don't have to walk home after the gig either.
True.
That's right. You don't,
Especially
you
in
don't
this-
if you perform
especially
here.
in
Or
this
either.
be
weather we've been
quiet.
having.
You just have to put mute on.
Yeah, you don't if you perform here either, Martin, because the artists stay overnight. But guest rooms here, so you don't have to walk home.
Oh well,
It's our home.
that's,
Humpole is our home. It's our lounge.
that's cheating.
Yeah.
Our local folk club's about a mile and a half away,
Oh dear. No.
Mm.
We've built our own here.
especially in the rain.
Mm.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm going to go get my cup of tea.
Okay. Mm.
Oh, yeah. This is
So, Wayne and Guile, have you done something to your kitchen? Is that backdrop?
no, it's a green screen thing, but it's really not working very well. It's not working very
Oh,
well.
well, that
I don't know
happens.
why. We
Oh,
vanished.
might have turned it off, I think. It's obvious 'cause it's-
It looks like you're a magician and that Guile is your attractive assistant who you can make disappear.
Can you do it the other way around?
I think I'll turn it all off. Well, who we God, we got people popping in all over the place here. Yeah.
I hope so. I
Janet
want this to
Packwood.
continue. Mm.
Janet, where are you from? Do I know you, or you're from England too? Are you? You look like a
Yeah,
pond.
yeah. I'm in Shipley in Yorkshire.
Ah.
Oh,
very good.
no.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for getting up
Good
early.
morning.
And who else we got? Mary Clinging. You're from England.
Hello.
You're from England too. You've been
Yeah, just got up out of bed.
very good.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's right. It's morning over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
busy.
Good morning from England.
Another one. Where's all the bloody Aussies? We haven't had that many Aussies,
Australia.
have we?
I can hear one.
Hiya, David. It's Bruce here.
It's Bruce.
Yeah,
I thought
he's
it was
an
you. Yep.
Yeah.
People of taste. Mary,
Yeah, the sound, we're having trouble.
David
Which
Lindsay.
part of Australia? Which part of Australia have we landed up in?
Well, we're in Sydney. The northern beaches of Sydney, the Lambie Heights. My wife and I. We bought a church when it was up for sale about 12, 13 years ago, and we live here. And the church itself,
Right.
at the back, is our lounge room, if you like, and we have
Oh,
concerts there.
marvellous.
And Les 10 years ago was our third ever house concert we had. With Frankie Armstrong was the second, and a local band was the first. So, and I got round to finally editing the rest of the concert because I videoed it all, and I'd only ever and I realised, hell, I haven't edited the concert, so I edited it all. And editing it all, I thought, why don't I see if I can get in touch with Les? And I did, and I said, Les, why don't we do this? And so we are. That's how it all happened.
Marvellous.
But the whole concert's up there. You can get it from his channel. If you go to Les's channel, you'll see it there. Les Barker at Hump Hall. It was a fabulous concert, fabulous. The whole thing's there.
And Graham Edmonds always helps us with the concerts, and now he's helping us.
Yeah. But I don't think he did this one. I think it was someone else who was doing it the first few concerts. I thought it disappeared, and then thankfully, Graham's done it ever since.
For those who don't know, Hump Hall is not just a fantastic church and a great venue, it's also a home and a hub for community music. And Wayne does fantastic work with a whole lot of different people, which he calls Loosely Woven, putting on all sorts of productions. And the venue is second to none. Wouldn't you agree, Les?
Definitely, yeah.
Amazing.
And it's a fabulous place.
Yeah. And I must admit, Loosely Woven, the group that I coordinate, was the main reason we bought a church and established Hump Hall. It wasn't for professional wankers like Les. It was really.
You get upset.
It's really. But we haven't been doing much in the last 8 months or so. It's been. But hopefully fairly soon. But things aren't looking good for you over there, though, are they? In the UK at the moment. Blimey.
Okay, we just did a
Very folk festival happening anytime soon over there, yeah? Hello, Alison. Hovering in the background there.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
So who hasn't introduced themselves? Colin and Wardell?
Oh, yes. Hello. Open mute.
Huh?
Can you hear us? No.
Oh, I'm looking at a different person because the Colin I'm talking to is not saying.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. I haven't said anything yet. I've just joined. Stuart Pendrell from the Netherlands.
Oh, we can't see your.
Oh.
We can't see your
Hello, Martin.
That's because he's in Holland.
Yeah, you don't have any
wouldn't want to see Stuart anyway.
Oh, wouldn't we? All right.
There you go.
Oh,
Tell you
no.
what, at this time of day, you definitely don't want to see me.
Yeah.
There's someone else. Every time a new person comes, you all move around the square, don't you?
Yeah.
People still buying tickets through Humantic. By the way, I'll mention it later, but if any of you get a chance to make a donation, I'm going to leave it open for the next few days. You can just click on that link in the Humantics and buy a ticket anytime you like, just to make it a contribution. So, who else have we got here that we can actually see anyway?
I'm here.
Got Guy and Gary. We met you yet, Guy and Gary. Where are you from? You England? You look a bit English.
Yes, morning, Adrian. Lincolnshire.
Lincolnshire. Yes, very good. Yeah, you can just got up. You can tell the ones who just got up and those of us about to go to bed.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah, you've got the coffee. I'm about to get the cheese and biscuits.
Oh,
I just had cheese and biscuits for breakfast. Sort of getting the things.
I'm just looking forward to mine.
Got another one from Southeast England. Hi, Sue.
I'll be on the way. A bit further north.
That's trouble. I don't think because it's on here.
Sam.
Oh, hello, Pam.
Hi.
I've got my speaker plugged in.
Come over. You're having trouble getting in or something? Give it a why. You're right. Let's click on the link.
Butter and honey. That's outrageous.
Hello, Winter Wilson.
No, it's already started.
Yeah, Dave and Kit. I thought I saw you there. Yeah, hi.
Oh, I'm not sure what the number is, but you.
Yeah, I've got it now.
What?
Must be on the other screen now.
Studio from there when they did with us.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just keep switching the microphone off because it makes it echo.
Technical issues.
Yeah. But it's also on the website. You go to Humphall website. Just click on that link.
Bill, stop
But it's 87000 23750 is the number. 8730 23750.
So we were just we found.
And then a hump is the password. But just clicking on the link, just click on that link and it'll just take you straight there. Anyway, oh, good. That was good old Margaret Walters who's just trying to join in.
Oh, good.
A real stalwart of Australian folk music, I'll tell you, Margaret.
Yeah.
Running concerts and
Yeah,
organising.
so Wayne,
Yes, Anne.
sorry, yeah. So is that 87000 number, is that the same number for anything you're going to put out from Humph?
But unless I had problems with it, it's my personal meeting room. I use it for Lucy Woven meetings.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah.
So just click on that link. Yeah.
Because when I did it before, you forgot to put the 87 on.
Oh, I'm not sure where that was, but anyway. Here's
Doesn't matter. We're here now.
So there's Margaret. At least we haven't got a picture yet, but I think we've got her audio. You there, Margaret?
Yeah, I've got my audio now.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Margaret.
For those who don't know Margaret Walters is an absolute giant in Australian
name anyway.
folk scene, has been organising concerts all over the place for years and years, but also is a wonderful singer herself. She's one of the
Yay.
Hi, Margaret.
In Oops.
Gracious words.
I think we might. Just 7:30, isn't it? We'll give people a little bit longer. Oh, Siobhan Jones. She's sung in Lucy Woven.
Francoise.
Many years ago. Because all the Australians are coming on now. The Aussies are a bit later. It's going to be the Poms getting up earlier, being late. There's Dallas and Jim. Hey.
Good evening to you. Yeah. We donated money, but clicking on the link, it wasn't connecting, so I've gone in on the free one.
Oh.
Where's Mary?
Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Yeah, Mary.
I am not Kate, just to let you know.
Oh, is she coming along?
No, she's gone to church in England.
Okay, and so you are what? I can change your name if you like. What's your
I am Joe.
Joe Whittaker.
Known to Stuart Pendrell down in the bottom right corner.
Okay, with an E? With an E, Joe, or what? Without an E? With an E?
Joe, and the surname is Whittaker.
Yeah,
but I am not the love child of Roger Whittaker.
Hello, Joe. Just saw your picture. I was just getting another cup of tea, mate. Nice to see you.
We haven't changed. That's the guy that collects money at the
Oh, I can relax now. I've got here.
So, Winter Wilson, you got your sound sorted out yet? Okay, we'll give people a little. I'm the stickler for starting on time, but I realise this is a little bit trickier. Yeah. So we'll give people. Annie, your face looks familiar.
Yes, Annie also played at Humphall.
You played at Humphall.
Put the camera off.
Violinist in what's your band?
What? Yeah, who are you with, Annie? Say hello.
Christine.
Hi, I'm Annie. I played at Humphall, the wonderful Humphall.
Oh, Fiona Blanco.
Blanco.
Yes. Wonderful. Lovely. How did you find out about this? Are you on my newsletter still?
Yeah.
I've never seen you, but I'm glad.
I'm actually in Germany, so I'm joining you from Germany.
Oh, wow.
Well done.
Whereabouts in Germany?
I'm in Bremen, near Hamburg.
In where?
Bremen.
Oh, Bremen.
Well, I don't think.
And he's a wonderful violinist, people, by the way.
Are you, what are you,
Bremen's not far from where I am, Annie.
Oh, really? Where are you?
I'm in the Netherlands, in just by Groningen.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
really weird, and you can't see who's talking, can you?
Germany.
Good to hear you, Stuart.
Well, I've got everybody on the one screen, but the next person is going to put me on a two screen. Nope, now on two screens.
Well, greetings from Sutton-on-Trent.
Cool.
Morning, Keith and
Morning,
Gwen.
Keith and Gwen.
Morning.
Hiya.
Morning.
Well, unless I temporarily take it off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, I think we might keep going.
Morning, Mary.
Hello.
Have we finished with all the hellos? I think.
You appeared now.
Okay, listen, we do need to mute, right? But when somebody is performing, whether it's Les or somebody else, you do all need to mute. But please, I'm assuming you all know how to do that. But do be ready to unmute as soon as it's finished, so that the performer can hear some response and your laughter and your clapping and your talking and whatever. But I can unmute you. If some of you don't. If I unmute you all, mind you, I end up muting. Sorry, if I mute you all, I mute Les as well, which is a bit of a problem. But anyway, but I can't unmute you all, and I can't unmute anybody. So it's up to you to do that, please. Okay. But we do want to give some response. It's going to be very hard, particularly for somebody who, I mean, let's face it, you've all seen Les perform, and have you ever seen anyone that interacts with the audience quite in so much, or in such detail, so brilliantly as Les does? You know, right down to the millisecond of pausing and waiting and so on. So it must be very hard for him to perform in a situation. But anyway, I'm sure that it'll still be absolutely wonderful. So we'll begin with a bit of a bracket from Les, and then and Bruce, perhaps at the end of that, if you're ready to do something, Bruce, and you, okay? So he'll do a few things and then he'll say, okay, over to Bruce, and then we'll switch over to you. Okay, all right. So welcome everybody. We'll have a bit more of a hellos to people after the first bracket. So we'll all mute. I will just mute everybody. No, wait, you can do it yourself. Please mute everybody, and a big, well, you can't do a big welcome to Les if you've muted, can you? Anyway, you can wave. A big wave to Les. There we go.
Hello.
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 We seem to have outnumbered the Australians this morning. I can put some of my poems about Boris back in.
Hey!
Right. I'll start with the first one.
Do it that way. Oh, that's better.
It was a sunny summer Sunday on a cliff top by the sea. I'd made myself a picnic lunch, some sandwiches and tea. I'd been there half an hour when I heard a sort of moan, and gradually it came to me that I was not alone. He was hanging by his fingers from the edge of the abyss. He'd been there quite some time. Now, let me tell you this. When it comes to clifftop picnics, I find it pays to be particular. Always choose the horizontal part.
Never the perpendicular.
Never the perpendicular. I could see he'd lost his tablecloth, his condiments as well. His teapot too was missing. He was upset, I could tell. There was no long preamble, no extended peroration. He limited himself to help by way of conversation. It's a very English thing, but as he hung above the sea by his fingertips, I asked him, "Would you like a cup of tea?" I poured the man a cup, and he was so elated, he took it from me straight away. Perhaps he should have waited. He clung on by his left hand, in his right his cup of tea. His options were quite limited. His fate was up to me. In view of his position, my next move was not a smart one. I said to him, "Do you take milk?" and handed him the carton. I was afraid that he had gone to certain death so far beneath, but as he passed an overhanging branch, he clung onto it with his teeth. In his left hand, still the milk. In his right hand, still the cup. I leaned over the cliff top. I looked down and he looked up. When they asked, was it my fault? I must confess a great unease. I called down, "Do you take sugar?" He looked up and said, "Yes, please."
Fabulous.
Oh, thank you. I'll do a sad one.
Oh.
When
that
he
was sad.
at his wildest, out on the African plains, lost amongst the wildebeest and the springboks, chasing the seasonal rains. There once lived a family of zebras, a small group of sisters and brothers, and there was one who stood out from his fellows. Spot was not like the others. Somehow he stood out in long grass, where others somehow seemed to blend. When you're trying to hide from the lions, a zebra calls Spot's not your friend. Nature can play cruel tricks. You might see it as victimization when the rest of your family are barcodes and you're just wild punctuation. Life can be hard when you're different. It's sad how cruel folk can be. Strange how the world can be hurtful to someone not like you and me. Spot may have been modest and clever, the fastest, the kindest, the best. But Spot was soon banished forever, for Spot was not like the rest. I went to his brothers and sisters to ask how all this came about. The trouble is, he's really a leopard, and we don't want to be there when he finds out. So he stands all alone in a grassland. Life's furrow alone he must plough, for Spot was not like the others. Spot was different somehow. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I'm curious about where old Dave Kidman's snow is. Where is it, Dave?
Beamsley Beacon.
All right, yeah.
Just other side of the valley from us, on the north side of the valley.
Right. Yeah, we had some here about a week ago, but we've lost ours now. We're always careless with it.
Yeah. You said it, Liz.
Yeah. Right. I'll do one a bit different now. This is one. It's one I wrote during the first lockdown we had back in, when was it, March, April, something like that. And we had about 2 months of beautiful weather. And where I live, I've got this huge field just outside the house full of wildflowers and all sorts of stuff. And it was like having 15 minutes of paradise every day. and it sort of changes the way you think about things when you go down the same field day after day and see how everything's a bit different every single day. The clock that we follow's gone missing. There's no reason to rush into town, but you notice in time that time's passing, and with the passage of time, you slow down. Bright dandelions, ragged and yellow, where on yesterday's walk there were none. Their soft circles of seed will soon follow, and borne by the breeze will be gone. Moon-kissed, the mist on the meadows lies silent, lies silver tonight, where buttercup, crane's bill and dog rose sleep in the shadows, waiting for light. Cow parsley, corn cockle, yarrow, meadow grass, oat grass and sedge, greenfinch and goldfinch and sparrow, as they nest and they feed and they fledge. The robin's a friend, he'll be near you, and the blackbird, that sweet liquid song, they'll always be here. They don't fear you, but the swallow is leaving ere long. Each tomorrow a new song awaits you, retracing in colour and rhyme the million sweet rhythms of nature, here where they've been all the time. They were here when we knew all the answers, when we thought that we knew what we thought we could do in a world where we thought we were masters of all that we thought that we knew. We knew rather less than we reckoned, and we've listened to fools and their lies when the pound or the dollar has beckoned. It's high time we took time to be wise. For all nature's lives, there's a reason. There's a wisdom in all nature's ways. In each step between season and season, in the ever-changing detail of days.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, George. Yeah, I gather you're having trouble getting in, are you? Carry on, Les. Sorry, I've got George Papagears on the phone. Hang on.
Right, I'll do a good one while you're not listening.
Don't let George in.
There are issues in life. One, of course, is the problem that has to be faced, that our world has finite resources. So I try to minimize waste. Our follies abound, they surround us. And as a result of these fears, I try to protect what's around us. Plastic bags, not used one for years. My bag's organic, okay. It's something I carry with pride, but something happened today. My bag for life has just died.
Oh dear.
There was turmoil, a tearing and rending, and it hung like a limp piece of rag. The bottom fell out of my world when the bottom fell out of my bag. I had eggs and potatoes and such. Cheese, I got more than one kind. But now none of it mattered that much. I had bigger things now on my mind. I could hear people, frank and so forthright. I saw wise heads shaking outside. I don't give him more than a fortnight. His bag for life has just died. In sorrow more than amazement, the morning had turned to a sad one. I tried to buy a replacement. You can't have another. You've had one. It's a pill that can never be sugared. That's what we generally find. Your bag for life, sir, is buggered. You'll not be too far behind. By now she'd planted the seed. I gazed at my shopping and sighed. I think I bought more than I need. Me bag for life has just died. The facts, sir, are just not readable. I'd have 1 bar of soap, don't buy 2. Your bag, sir, is biodegradable. And so, I'm afraid, sir, are you? It's not just a bag, it's a token. I gazed at it limp and quite dead. Me bag for life had just spoken, and everyone knew what it said. There's a big man in black with a sickle. I can see a pale horseman outside. Here I am with me hot mango pickle, and me bag for life has just died. Here I am at the till, still debating, with death at the door pulling faces. The pale horseman's still outside and waiting. He's in one of the handicap spaces. There's a fear will be here with me always, with a rhythm relentless as rhyme, like a clock in life's dark, empty hallways. The slow tick of my borrowed time. It was not just a rending of linen. So much more is implied. You know that your ending's beginning when your bag for life has just died. But is it? How nigh is my end? There's bacon I still need to eat. Every steak pie is my friend. There are chips waiting to meet. It's not time to take me last breath. I had an idea. It was this. I went out and sneaked up behind death and quietly swapped my bag for his. Paid for me goods and departed. There was death, a limp rag at his side. Bewildered he was, broken-hearted. His bag for life has just died.
Just before we go on, can everybody please mute during it? I think with so many people, we could have perhaps with a few people, we could have tried it without, but it's just too distracting. So everyone, please mute. And if you want to make a quick little comment or laugh, you can just hold the space bar down, just for a second or two, and and then lift it up again if you've got a computer. And Les, are you? Yeah, back to you.
I'm on my phone. I have no idea how to mute. Sorry.
If you tap the screen.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the bottom there'll be something.
Oh.
Well done. Very good. Okay, back to you, Les. Or you.
Righto.
Mute, please.
Roll up, cried the ringmaster. See the man on the flying trapeze. The one we just fitted with elastic. That's him over there in the trees. Where's Cosmo, the fairly accurate knife thrower? The girl with the baby said. Her name was Lucille. They knew Cosmo would know her because she still had a knife in her head. He's back there in the procession, said the ringmaster, pointing to an old half-timbered Morris. It was Cosmo, the fairly accurate knife thrower, and his lovely assistant, Doris. Lucille stormed up to him in anger, gave him the baby. He didn't resist. He was shamed by the memory of the night she conceived. He'd aimed for her sister and missed. Little did she know that the child Cosmo gained on that morning's Morris Traveller ride would become the world famous stuntman, Evil Schmeevel, and his Yamashita 125. He grew up a child of the circus, rode the Big Dipper, the Dodgems, the Ghost Train, with Cosmo, the fairly accurate knife thrower, and his lovely assistant, Elaine. Once upon a time they kept marine mammals, but everyone was agin it, and now the pool stands empty. There isn't any porpoise in it. Evil set the animals free, 'cause that's what he knew they would wish. You can't keep animals in cages these days, and it never worked out well with the fish. And soon he was the star of the circus, in the Morris Traveller, still travelling on, with Cosmo, the fairly accurate knife thrower, and his lovely assistant, Yvonne. Poor Cosmo was on the decline. He was hitting the Boddington's loopy juice, and in one afternoon it 2 lovely assistants, 4 passers-by, and a migrating Canada goose. The circus was making a fortune, and the audiences willingly paid it to see Evil leap over 36 National Front members and cheer when he never quite made it. Then before they get out of the ring, the next act would hit 2 or 3. It was Cosmo, the fairly accurate knife thrower, and his lovely assistant, Marie. And the climax of Evil's career was announced with fanfare and fuss. He'd leap over 42 motorbikes in a corporation double-decker bus. It was on the 189 to Stockport that Evil set out after his dream, drove at 75 miles an hour towards the Little Sisters of the Poor formation motorbike team. Some say the lady on the back seat stood up, but they found a puncture in the front wheel and a knife inscribed, "To Cosmo, the fairly accurate knife thrower," from his lovely assistant, Lucille.
Oh! Thank
you. What should I do? Ah, yes, this one.
Carol Eucken does that one at a lot of our poets' breakfasts. She loves it. Carol Eucken's a poet over here in Australia, and we have poets' breakfasts, as you know, you've been to them at our festivals, and she loves that poem and quite often does it. I was talking to her yesterday, and I was hoping she'd be.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, which one was it? Which one?
The fairly accurate knife thrower.
All right, great, yeah.
And there's
I
someone
didn't know
someone else also does the iceberg.
Right. I'll get round to that before we finish, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure you.
Hey, Russell.
Right. This is one. The ones in Australia won't have heard this one yet. Anyway, it's one. Mary Clinging will know it. It's one I wrote at Chester Festival a couple of years ago. The curtains were a rich dark blue. The backdrop a sort of beige. The stage lights were a similar hue, and no one, it seemed, was on stage. The appointed hour was at hand, and the clock ticked on beyond 8. Just one lonely mic on a stand. Perhaps the performer was late. It was then that he came into view, changing from beige into red, to yellow, then orange, then blue. "I'm a stand-up chameleon," he said. We stared, the whole audience struck dumb by the whole Dulux catalogue made real. He was sorbet and sumptuous plum. He was sapphire and saffron and teal. For an hour we had more of the same. He was orchid and emerald glade, a flash of flamingo and flame. It was then that he started to fade. Exhausted, he slumped to a chair, by now a pale nondescript brown. Stand-up chameleons, to be fair, are not going to do it, sat down. The curtains were a rich dark blue. The backdrop a sort of beige. The stage lights were a similar hue. And no one, it seemed, was on stage. Ew. Right. This is one I wrote when I moved to Wales, because when I lived in Manchester, I never had much of a garden, but now that I live in Wales, I've got one it's about 100 yards long and a foot wide. Some would call it a path. But I wrote this poem to celebrate all the freedom I had to do my gardening. I'd never had a garden, so I smiled all summer, watched it grow. Flowers came and flowers went with gifts of colour, shape and scent. And as I watched the seasons turn, I knew I had a lot to learn. One thought in my young head was placed: one must not waste one's garden waste. And so I bought a compost bin and put my garden waste therein, in hopes in time it would decay, and so it proved. And one spring day, I spread it on my garden so the mulch would help my garden grow. And so it proved, for very soon I found I had to cut and prune. I cut and pruned and hacked and mowed. It seemed I had more than I'd sowed. Still June, it seems impossible. My compost bin's already full. I bought a second compost bin and put my garden waste therein, in hopes in time it would decay, and so it proved one autumn day. I spread it on my garden, those two binfuls, how my garden grows. And grow it did, for very soon I found I had to cut and prune. The garden waste that I'd used made richer soil, which thus produced more garden waste. What can I do? I fill bin 1. I fill bin 2. I bought a third compost bin and put my garden waste therein, in hopes in time it would decay, and so it proved one April day. Bed and lawn, I mulched them both and watched in fear for signs of growth. And grow it did, for very soon I found I had to cut and prune, and hack and trim and mow and chop another bloody bumper crop. A vintage year for garden waste, and soon the problem must be faced. I make a start, I fill bin 1, bins 2 and 3, the work goes on, for I have cut and gathered in enough to fill another bin. I went and bought bin number 4, but I'll not do this anymore. I go out every evening, late, I sneak out through my garden gate and lay my treasure down instead on someone else's flower bed. And having thus enriched their loam, I steal their slugs and take them home. I see their gardens, how they grow. I look at mine, and does it? No. I watch them toil, I watch them weep. I close my eyes and go to sleep. Thank you.
That was silly, Les.
Actually, I stopped at the second compost bin, but I could see where it was going. Right, I'll have a go at this one. I'd always wanted a dog. So one day I took in a stray. He didn't want to leave me, and so I called him Stay. I knew it was a mistake. The first time I told Stay to go. Go, Stay. And I pointed, but did Stay go?
I'm there, thanks, bye.
Go, Stay, I said. And he started. He was going and then he was not. He looked at me, sad and confused, and two big eyes said, "What?" I threw him a stick. I said, "Fetch, Stay." He started and stopped all in one. I never got round to come here, Stay. Stay couldn't come, he'd not gone. He wanted to please, but he couldn't. I spoke, but he just didn't know. So I got him a spaniel for company. I shouldn't have called it Go. I said, "Stay, Go," and Go would stay a second, then both Stay and Go were away. I had to shout, "Come here, Stay and Go." They were coming and going all day. I said, "Stay, Go and stay." I tried Go, Stay and Go. Nothing seemed to get through. It's not they were both saying no. They were both saying, "Does he mean you?" It's all very well in the park, but what if we stood at the curb? Two lost souls in the dark. Which bloody one is the verb? I've got him a new friend now. I found him, a poor starving wretch. I hope they'll be happy together. Go and Stay, come and meet, Fetch.
I've got to tell you this. I played your other dog poem on air a month ago. Dachshunds with erections can't climb stairs. And
Yeah.
I walked down the street walk down the harbour where everyone walks their dogs, and there was a bloke down with a little Dachshund. I said to him, "Hey, mate," I said, "do you know Dachshunds with erections can't climb stairs?" And he looked at me like I was some sort of weirdo and picked up his dog. He said, "Have a look, mate, it's female."
Years ago, I used to visit June Tabor quite a lot, and she always has 3 or 4 dachshunds, and she took this cruel pleasure in taking them for walks in the snow. This one's a bit different. This is one that actually came to me in a dream. All I had to do when I woke up the next morning was to go to the computer and type the poem in, and there it was finished. I don't know where it came from, but I'm glad it did. I want to tell you of a dream that came to me one night. I dreamed I saw a monument, an arch of purest white. The purest, whitest arch atop the longest marble wall. I saw when I moved closer that it bore no words at all. I heard a sound behind me. As I turned, I caught my breath. I saw a hooded figure, and I knew that it was death. Do you like my piece of sculpture? Let me tell you what it's for. It's just one more memorial to those who die in war. It's just one more memorial like those in every town. Once a year you honour them. You stand with heads bowed down in remembrance of the sacrifice of those who won't come back from Passchendaele, Gallipoli, Korea and Iraq. And so, he said, this monument, as yet it bears no text, a monument remembering the war that's coming next. You'll come here and you'll read the names and touch the ones you know. If ever you remembered, you'd never let them go. Look beside the wall, see there's a mason standing by to carve the names of sons and daughters sent away to die. If ever you remembered, he'd not carve lest we forget. If ever you remembered, but you've not remembered yet. I woke and death was gone, and I swore that very night that I would build a monument, an arch of purest white. The purest, whitest arch atop the longest marble wall, and strive for all my life to see it bears no names at all. Thank you. It was a calm, still day in Yarmouth, the channel clear and wide, as the last of the timber sailing ships sailed out on the evening tide. They never saw that ship again. They searched when it was light. But that fine old timber vessel sank that clear and peaceful night. No one knows what happened on that night in 1910. But the crew and her cargo of woodpeckers were never seen again.
That was silly too, Les.
Oh, thank you. Oh, where am I? Oh, yes, I'll do this. No, I won't. I'll do a different one.
Oh, yes, you will.
No, I won't.
Yes,
Well,
you
not
will.
yet, anyway. No, don't start that. Deja vu.
Oh.
A rhyme.
He can mute.
It is impossible to experience deja vu for the first time. I reckon the first time deja vu happens is the second. Deja vu. A rhyme. It is impossible to experience deja vu for the first time. I reckon the first time deja vu happens is the second. I started with verse 2. Verse 1 must stay unlistened because the first time you say deja vu, it isn't. But then, to get a little more immersed, you can't experience deja vu twice because you didn't experience it first. To recap, deja vu, a rhyme. I know what you're thinking. This is not the first time. 3 times and still it isn't true. How do you qualify? What do you have to do? How do you climb this mountain? Or you may think it just a hillock. You may think this man is a philosopher. You may think this man is a pillock. Whenever I perform this poem in the USA, I always had to explain what a pillock is. I think they know now. I've been called a pillock before. Strange but true. When I hear the word pillock, to me, it is deja vu. A rhyme. It is impossible to experience deja vu for the first time. Then again, and this is interesting, there are those who say deja vu is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Then they say it again. And at the risk of being a bore, if you go back to the first time deja vu happened, you'll think, that's happened before. We should explore the supernatural, put knowledge in place of mere feeling. Edinburgh University has a chair for the paranormal. They can't get it down off the ceiling. Too many gaps in our understanding. Is time travel a thing of the past? What was the best thing before sliced bread? How long does this poem last? Are Blackpool hallucinations real? But to return to an old friend, deja vu. The end.
First poem I ever heard you do, Lee. First poem I ever heard you do. It's always stuck in my head.
I've just had a question about what that previous poem's called, the one about the War Memorial. It's called Remembrance. And it's in one of my small books called Man and Doberman. That's the only place you can find it at the moment. But if anybody wants it, I'll email it to anybody who does. Okay. Right. Oh, right. Yes. I'll do one that might need a moment of explanation to the Australians here. It's addressed to Priti Patel, who is our Home Secretary, and he's probably the most obnoxious one we've ever had. And for some reason, recently, she got this idea of sending our applicants for refugee status to islands offshore. I don't know where she got that idea from, but this was my immediate reply. We live beneath the same sun, children of one crowded earth. We're mongrels, every last one, each of us of equal worth. I live on this small island by some accident of fate. And should you sail to my land, should I offer late love or hate? Should I accuse the refugee, the soul washed up on shore, of the crime of fleeing poverty, the crime of fleeing war, the crime of desperation and the crime of risking life and limb? How dare they flee to our land? We'll give no home to her or him. They'll be processed, first of all, spend forever in a day, lost in Serco's hallowed halls, before we fly them far away. Is that what you have in mind? You think this will win you my vote? Is this the refuge defined by the long and proud history you quote? If that's your plan, I don't agree. Give them a safe way to arrive, a place to live, a place to be at home, at peace and alive.
Les, I'm sure that I speak on behalf of the other Australians here that we're very ashamed of the way our country treats our refugees.
Yeah, and we're doing more of the same way, and I'm equally ashamed. It's awful.
Les, the first time I ever heard you do a serious poem was at a peace concert at the National Folk Festival, and it was Questions. And it was
I remember the one.
Yeah, it was at the time we'd had 9/11, but it was before the invasion of Iraq, and it was just trying to put a bit of perspective and balance into all the stuff of that George Bush was going on. And I ended up doing that at a loosely woven concert, and I'm sure you'll be pleased to know that after doing it once at a church up the Northern Beaches we were told very politely that we would not be welcome back again.
Ah, splendid.
There was as a man, Reverend Alan Walker is I don't think he's still alive, but he was a minister in Methodist Church, and he's the one that founded Lifeline. I don't know whether you've heard of Lifeline, but in Sydney, it's an amazing organisation and has call-in thing. People can call in if they're feeling suicidal and so on. And he just does lots of wonderful, wonderful things. Probably fairly conservative morally, but politically he was right out there. And if he went to Hiroshima Day rallies and things, Reverend Alan Walker, he'd be up there on the stage, giving the government what for about the Vietnam War and whatever. But he was invited to the same church to do a series of 8 sermons. And after his first sermon, he too was told that he wouldn't be welcome back. So I thought we were in good company.
Yeah.
But hey, it's funny, questions doesn't do anything except state facts, does it? You just state a whole pile of accepted facts. You weren't making up anything, and people just don't want to hear that, do they? Anyway, but well done.
Yeah,
I think I'll have to do that refugee poem at a Lucy Woven concert too.
Okay, I'll send you a copy of that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shall we have a song from Bruce now, do you think?
Yeah, please. Yeah. Yes. I've not heard Bruce for years.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Bruce Watson is this wonderful, wonderful singer-songwriter from Melbourne, Victoria, that I've known long before Lucy Woven used to go to folk festivals and things, and really love this man. And he too, like Les, does a lot of very funny songs, but he also does some really beautiful, serious songs too. So everybody, this is Bruce Watson. You can give
Thank you. And I'm just going to have to go away because the first song that I'm going to do, I need a capo, and I realised I left my capo downstairs. Oh. So maybe Les should do one more poem, and then I'll be back. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Thank you for calling today. Our staff are here to inform or discuss. But first, let me assure you that your call is very important to us. With every hour that passes, our commitment to you grows stronger. And so we'll play the birdie song and ignore you for a little longer. Thank you for calling today. Your call is in a queue. I think you might as well forget whatever else you had to do. We applaud your great persistence in this long and hard endeavour. Please dial 1 for a 20-minute message of no relevance to you whatsoever. Dial 2 to access our menu. Dial 3 to access nothing at all. Dial 4 to be mysteriously disconnected and have to make another call. Thank you for calling today to avail of our voicemail facility. We thank you for your patience and continuing stupidity. Your call is very important. We want you to know that we care. Press the star key to speak to a human being. Hold you there. Thank you for calling today. Just flex those finger sinews. Press the star key to speak to a human being. Stupidity continues. Dial 2 for the chance to dial 1. Dial 1 for the chance to dial 2. Dial 3 for disconnection. And the subsequent deja vu. Press the keys marked pound and star and then your 19-digit PIN. We'll know exactly who you are, but we still won't let you in. And while you drift on passing time and contemplate infinites, here's the theme from the Deer Hunter for a further 40 minutes. We've installed the latest technology and our business just blossomed and grew. Thank you for calling the Samaritans. Your call is in a queue. Thank you.
Don't know whether to laugh or cry there, Les.
We all know.
Okay, well, look, everybody, Bruce Watson.
Thank you. I have my capo now, so I'm ready to go. I'm going to do, I don't know how much I'm doing, Wayne, but I'll do one song and then we'll see what happens. So I'm going to do a song about this little creature here. You may recognise him. Les, that's not Boris Johnson.
Or Donald Trump.
Or Donald Trump. It's a blobfish. And there really is a creature called the blobfish. And it's actually officially the ugliest creature in the world. They had a competition and the blobfish won. So I thought that was worth a song. So this has a little chorus. If people pick it up, please join in, but on mute. I live at the bottom of the ocean near Australia, 4,000 feet below. I've got the kind of face only a mother could love, like a slimy pink bulbous big toe. Even when I'm happy, I always look sad, my mouth in a permanent frown. With these big droopy eyes, it might be easy to despise me, but please don't put me down. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. I live at the bottom of the sea. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. The ugliest creature in the world, that's me. That was the chorus, all right? It goes, I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. I live at the bottom of the sea. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. The ugliest creature in the world, that's me. My scientific name is Cycrolucus mercidus, but it's just plain blobfish to my friends. You may think your life is hard, but you shouldn't make a fuss, cause way down here, the pressure is intense. Well, they held a vote to find the ugliest creature in the world, and guess what? I won! But what about the axolotl? What about the scrotum frog? And what about Peter Dutton? I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. I live at the bottom of the sea. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. The ugliest creature in the world, that's me. Now we blobfish are endangered, we get caught in deep sea nets, cause it seems that people just don't understand that every creature is important in this precious web of life, just not just the cute and cuddly ones like the panda. Well, you can laugh at my appearance and make jokes about my face, cause let's face it, my face would make you cringe. But just remember not to judge someone's worth by how they look, because true beauty lies within. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. I live at the bottom of the sea. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. The ugliest creature in the world, that's me. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. I live at the bottom of the sea. I'm a blobfish, a blobfish. The ugliest creature in the world, that's me.
Yeah. Thanks, Bruce. And maybe we'll have some time for another one. But where is Les? Are you ready to go again? And then after that, we've got going to have something from Alistair. Alistair, if you can get yourself ready when Les says go, go. Okay. All right. Back to you, Les.
Righto then. Reg was a lonely glowworm, all alone in the big city night. Lady glowworms didn't like him, never really thought him too bright. She was just a red glow in the gutter, alone, perhaps lonely like him. His heart simply melted like butter. Her light made all others seem dim. But tonight he would not be requited. Her warm love could never be Reg's, for he was a lonely glowworm, and she was a Benson and Hedges. He asked did she come here often, asked if she fancied a drink. She might perhaps like a light ale. No reply, not a nod, not a wink. She was just a red glow in the gutter, smouldering, sultry, aloof. Not one single word did she utter, and Reg never guessed at the truth. His heart was aflame with desire, but her fire was a pyre. It was Reggie's, for he was a lonely glowworm, and she was a Benson and Hedges. He desperately wanted to know her there in the big city night, but there like a moth to the flame, Reg was drawn to the light. She was just a red glow in the gutter, a beacon of love in the mist. She lay where some smoker had put her, and Reg could no longer resist. He burned more than his fingers that evening. Now he carries a torch with scorched edges, for he was a lonely glowworm, and she was a Benson and Hedges. He fell like a fool for a fag end, for passion can have strange effects, and his contact lenses were missing and a tortoise had trodden his specs. She was just a red glow in the gutter, unmoved by wit, wisdom or wealth. Set a firefly on fire and a flutter, and seriously damaged his health. All she left was a small pile of charcoal. Remember those embers of Reggie's, for he was a lonely glowworm, and she was a Benson and Hedges. Thank you. I've got an occasional table. There it is over there. You can tell it's an occasional table. Today's its day off, it's a chair. I've got an occasional table. I can't seem to get it to settle. It's all been a bit unexpected. I thought I was buying a kettle. I took it upstairs on the bus. I always get the bus back from town. It was then it turned into a wardrobe. Took 6 of us to get it back down. I've got an occasional table, but some of the time I've not. I always rush me dinner. You never know how long you've got. I think I might have another. Excuse the element of doubt. It's the kind of occasional table that's only in when you're out. I thought if I had 2, they might breed. I really quite fancy a set, but with them both being occasional, I don't think they've actually met. I've got some occasional tables. I'm never quite sure where they are. I'd quite like to have a settee, but so far they've not gone so far. Sorry. I think therefore I am. All we believe stems from this, except my occasional table, which only occasionally is. Perhaps there's a parallel universe where they all go to live quite a lot, where they called usual tables, and only occasionally not. An infinite number of occasional tables would ensure there was always one there. I've got an occasional table. Look, here it is. It's a chair. Thank you. I don't like my boomerang. I know what you're going to say. If you hate your boomerang so much, why don't you throw it away? That's all very well in theory. It may seem that simple to you. Why don't you throw your boomerang away? because I threw it away yesterday too. There are times when life is not easy. There are days when the future looks black. There are days when you throw your boomerang away. There are days when your boomerang comes back. There are times it gets me down. Perhaps I shouldn't let it. What I can't understand is this. How did I ever get it? Sometimes when in the front garden, I throw it, then hurry indoors. And within half an hour, there's a ring on the bell and a small boy says, "Is this yours?" Once I got really angry. I taped some dynamite to it. And without really thinking things through, I lit the fuse and I threw it. With hindsight, this was an error. We learn lessons from life. I was taught it is better to think before throwing your boomerang. Never think after you've caught it. I've resorted to desperate measures. Sometimes when I throw the stick, I try to move house before it comes back, but you can't get a mortgage that quick. I had a Jack Russell Terrier once. I used to call him Jack. I used to throw my boomerang for him. The stick used to bring the dog back. I've seen the stickers in car windows and it gets me right here like a knife. A boomerang's not just for Christmas. A boomerang is for life.
One for us Aussies, was it, Les? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'll do one. It's one I've written for Savona Stevenson to set to music. I've been working with her occasionally over the last 30 or 40 years, writing things for choirs. For anyone who's not seen her, she's a really wonderful harpist, but she's also a composer, and we do quite a lot of things that end up being done by choirs. I've become quite a specialist in writing songs to be sung in churches that don't mention God. And this is one I've written specially because we're having a global warming conference in Glasgow next year. Well, this year now, hopefully anyway. And Savona lives fairly close to that, so there's a chance it might get performed there. I watch the world through ancient eyes. I feel the flow of good and ill. A world grown rich, but not grown wise. A world grown rich, but hungry still. A world always in want of wealth, still taking more than earth can give. For greed pays little heed to health, the health of all, that all may live. We're dancing on the edge of time, in a world where wealth is all, in a world where past and present rhyme. We're dancing on the edge of time. Here's earth and ocean, bird and beast. Tomorrow will we bid farewell to life, from largest to the least, from Khan and king to single cell. The future's fragile, on the brink. A fine, efficient fool is man. It's time we took the time to think. It's time we had a better plan than dancing on the edge of time. In a world where wealth is all, in a world where past and present rhyme, we're dancing on the edge of time. King Midas, all you own is gold, to have, to hold, but what's it worth? Where will you spend it when we've sold our living home, this living earth? How many layers, age on age, have you destroyed? Just take a look. It's long past time to turn the page. or would you rather close the book? We're dancing on the edge of time in a world where wealth is all, in a world where past and present rhyme. We're dancing on the edge of time. Right. In the days of old California, in the days of rule by Spain, we knew many figures of legend. Of these many, just one will remain. Some call me Don Diego. I come like a wraith from the gloom. You will see just a flash of my rapier, hear a sound from one side of the room. I am the man they call Mono. I bring hope to the poorer, the weaker. Fear not, for Mono is coming, but only out of one speaker. I leave a large letter M engraved on some prominent panel. Vengeance will be mine, but only in the left channel. I have grace, I have charm. When I speak, I have rhyme, I have cadence and meter. I am civilized man at his peak, but I'm short of one woofer and tweeter. Can't you trace that mysterious humming? Does the future seem blacker or bleaker? Fear not, for Mono is coming, but only out of one speaker. Mono, a man you can trust, for the tyrant there's nowhere to hide. I'm on the side of the just, and what's more, I'm just on one side. I was made on the loom of the night, with justice my warp and my weft. I will ride for whatever is right. That's me over there on the left. The sound of some drums can be numbing, and melodians could be a mite meeker. Fear not, for Mono is coming, but only out of one speaker. Here I stand, your friendly avenger, the man with one channel switched off. Everyone knows when I'm here, except maybe Vincent van Gogh. I carve a large letter M engraved on some prominent panel. Vengeance will be mine, but only in the left channel. I wear the mask of an outlaw that none may look on my face, but you know at the first sign of treble, I'll come riding out from my base. From the herd of the horsemen of hunger, I will ride with a large chicken tikka. Fear not, for Mono is coming, but only out of one speaker. I will ride for Juan and Juanita. There's nothing that Mono can't fix. Is there no guitar in the monitor? Is the banjo too high in the mix? Usually. I'm the saviour of man and of woman. Be joyful and cry out, Eureka! Fear not, for Mono is coming, but only out of one speaker. Ew. Right. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. Do not walk in front, for I may not lead. I've done that wrong. Do not walk behind me, for I may not lead. Do not walk in front, for I may not follow. Speak your truth quietly and clearly. Be open-minded, but do not lean forward or your brain may fall out. Know that there'll be good days and there'll be bad days, and this is one of them. Never accept a drink from a urologist. Always dismantle and clean the dog before going to bed, but avoid the use of spot remover. You may never see him again. You're a child of the universe. It is a small world unless you have to paint it. Do not wish for everything unless you have a really big cupboard. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. Sleep well. If you cannot sleep well, practice more often. Borrow from pessimists, they don't expect it back. Remember, if you give a man a day, if you give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. Teach him to fish, and he will sit in a boat and drink himself stupid. It is always darkest before the dawn. That is the time to steal your neighbour's newspaper. Be gentle with yourself. Bear in mind that depression is anger without enthusiasm, and good health merely the slowest way to die. Never argue with a fool, for he is doing the same. Know that if at first you don't succeed, skydiving was not a good idea. Be yourself. If you cannot become wiser, try to be older. Never stand between the dog and a lamppost. And never hit a man with glasses. Always use something bigger and heavier. And remember that some people are only alive because it's illegal to kill them. A closed mouth gathers no feet. Nature abhors a vacuum cleaner. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. And remember that your sole purpose in life is to serve as a warning to others. Go far and start as soon as possible.
Perhaps Les will have the song from Alistair now, okay? Okay, you ready, Alistair? Where are we?
Yep, I'm all set here. Yeah.
Oh, I see you are. Well, does everyone know Alistair Brown? You need to introduce yourself, Alistair.
Okay, well, hello from Cornwall, way down in the far southwest of England, that is. By the way, I just read in the paper this morning the G7 is going to happen at the end of my street, and I can't leave. It's awful. Anyway, here's an Irish comic song. From America, actually, with a chorus, so please join in when you hear it. Oh, let's try the right key. As I sat on my window last evening, the letterman brought it to me. A little Gultezed invitation saying, Gilhooly, come over to tea. I knew that the Fogarty sent it, so I went for old friendship's sake. The first thing that they gave me to try was a slice of her Christmas cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries, citron and raisin and cinnamon too. There was nuts and cloves and berries, and a top that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance to work up a fine stomach ache. They would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Miss Mulligan wanted to try it, but sure it wasn't no use. Though they worked on it over an hour, they couldn't get none of it loose. till Kelly came in with a hatchet and Murphy came in with a saw. That cake was enough by the powers above to paralyze any man's jaw. There were plums and prunes and cherries, citron and raisins and cinnamon too. There was nuts and cloves and berries, and atop there was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance to work up a fine stomach ache. They would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Miss Fogarty, proud as a peacock, kept smiling and primping away, till she tripped over Flanagan's brogans and she spilled some home brew in her tea. Gilhooly, she said, you're not eating, have a little bit more for me sake. Oh no, Miss Fogarty, said I, if I had it, my stomach would break. There were plums and prunes and cherries, citron and raisins and cinnamon too. There was nuts and cloves and berries, and atop there was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance to work up a fine stomach ache. They would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Maloney was sick with the colic, O'Donnell's a pain in his head. McNaughton lay down on the sofa and he swore that he wished he was dead. Miss Bailey went into hysterics and there she did shiver and shake, and everyone swore they were prizing by eating that Christmas cake. There were plums and prunes and cherries, citron and raisins and cinnamon too. There was nuts and cloves and berries, and atop there was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance to work up a fine stomach ache. They would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake.
Hey. Thank you, El. Thank you. Okay, well, look, we'll go back to Les now, and then a little bit later, I think the Winter Wilson have sorted out their audio problems, so we'll have a song from them. But back to you for the moment, Les.
Okay. Once my soul was filled with anger, no place for peace in me somehow. To me, serene was just a malt loaf, and Zen was just not now. Then I found Shih Tzu. I have solved life's Rubik's Cube. My karma had a puncture. I have found my inner tube. Shih Tzu has changed my life. I find it almost holy to be waving a small dog around, very, very slowly. We stand in lines at dawn, silent in the park, waving a small dog in a slow and perfect arc. Or if time be of the premium, tranquility may be found by putting them on leads and whirling them around. I find my ire is lower. I am cured of melancholy by waving a small dog around, very, very slowly. On Sundays, you will find us in our driveways. There we are. We dip the dog in soapy water and slowly, slowly shampoo the car. We care not for your scorn, for we have the antidote. We take a small dog and we ram it down your throat. What wards off influenza? What keeps away E. coli? Waving a small dog around, very, very slowly. And if you have a guide dog, don't be shy now. Have a go. Lift it overhead and slowly wave it to and fro. Rotate it anti-clockwise, slowly and with grace. If only you could see the look upon its face. Some have usually made muesli. I will stick to guacamole and waving a small dog around. Very, very slowly. I've been a party to karate, do jiu-jitsu, and I fear the Scandinavian martial art of Taekwondo, Feng Shui, IKEA. Tai Chi may seem to thee to be the way, no, I say nay, and I go on to say to you that they be they who do Shih Tzu and do not know their dog has gone. This beats Kendo, Shinto, Vimto, Ludo, Cluedo, Monopoly. I'm waving a small dog around, very, very slowly.
Well done, David. Yeah, very.
Right. Long ago in an inflatable land, where the inflatable king and queen rule, an inflatable boy in the village of Elftown went to inflatable school. At 9 a.m. on the inflatable dot, inflatable lessons begin. Nobody knew the inflatable boy had got an inflatable pin. He kept it concealed in his satchel. No one there knew of their fate, till the boy ran amok in the staff room and teachers began to deflate. He then stuck his pin in the building that was sharp and met little resistance. Just a hiss at the start, then a deafening fart, and the school flew off into the distance. Inflatable boys with inflatable pins. No inflatable parents get stroppy. The inflatable boy turned the pin on himself, and in no time at all he was floppy. He was saved by a man with a bicycle pump and a puncture repair kit to boot. But when he came round the next morning, by his bed was a man in a suit. Oh, dread, the headmaster, half covered in plaster, alive but not up to full pressure. Not enough PSI, but pure wrath in his eye, filled not with air but displeasure. Now then, young man, the headmaster began, in the inflatable hospital in Elftown. You've let your teachers down. You've let your school down. And now you've let yourself down. Hey, I think some of you might know this one. On a cold, rainy night on a Liverpool quayside, in the years before the Great War, the world was in shock at the loss of Titanic. So proud had they been days before. Relatives gathered for news of their loved ones, to read through the list of the dead. When into the throng came a sad-eyed old polar bear, and to the clerk at the counter, he said, "Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me. My wife and my children were coming from Greenland to be by my side in the zoo. Linda's my wife, and the eldest called Bernard, and Billy, well, he's only 2. I know on the ship there were hundreds of people, and I know the iceberg's not yours." The polar bear's eyes held the start of his teardrops, and he covered his face with his paws. "Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me. It's been over a year since I last saw my children. I left home to build my career. I've worked very hard. I'm a star in the circus. It's all been for nothing, I fear. That's my face on the poster. We're in town this week. My children were meeting me here. Everyone watched as he struggled to speak, and his paw brushed away one more tear. Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me. By now, all the people had gathered beside him. His grief was one they could share. The people around him in silence and sadness listened to the sad polar bear. I wanted my children to see me performing, and Belinda, she would have been proud. At last lost for words and his tears flowing freely, the question was asked by the crowd. Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me. Thank you.
He's going to send that message out there as well.
Far away to the west, where the great birds of Huffalo winder the plume, lose a laugh off lind of dyslexia. To most people, largely unknown. The 41st stout of the onion, the date most here to my start, that lies betwixt origami and nirvana, east of the San Andreas fart. Tub, there are unexplained thermometer, extraterrestrials, OFUs, that never appear in the poopers that are knit on the NNC news. Tolls of the paranorman, thongs that go on rindy boot there, and where are they copped? In the Y files. Duluth is out there. Ever since the Boston U Party and Paul Reverse's rhetorical hide, from Loxington to concrete, what's the stoat that no one can find? The mossing far on the far bangled spanner, the wind that they mossed off the flog, dyslexia, the place we'd all visit if only we knew where to og. From the home of Harlot O'Scara to the bonks of the I-ho-I, in the twin Twexan sotties of Saladin forthwith, dyslexia is filed under Y. Her fakes are a fisherman's paradise. There's salmon, there's crap and there's trout there. And at the back end of Lake Posterior, they say, Duluth is out there. I once went into a newsagent's in Wrexham, near where I live, and I saw a fishing magazine called Total Carp. Tub, Clare is this waste. Where can it see? What is the weaning of loof? Who tells us it's 24? Who goes in search of Duluth? The CAI, the FIB, the Instonian Smithstitute Lubbery, the entire resources of Washington CD, and principally Mouldy and Scullery. The Y files hold the secrets that flow through the pen of the poet, as the avocado flows through the Grand Canyon. It's spelling, Jim, but not as we know it. It could be something big, they say. Perhaps there's an elephant of doubt there. There's more to this than meets the J. Duluth is out there. Tub. In the land of Sylvester Testosterone, since the days of Capone and his gangsters, some have said we are not alone. Some say there are Eileens amongst us. In the land of Forrest Gump, Peaklahoma, Eskansaw, Michigan Impossible, and Clark Bagel, to name but four. We can all trut our post in mouldy and scullery. They will not stand their idly in the home of Robert Zimmerframe, the man who found fame as Bob Diddley. Where the wrong letters missing in Hollywood, may the horse be with you. Go out where no one voted for George W. Bush. Duluth is out there. Da. I once did that poem at a festival in Mobile, Alabama. It's an odd place. I performed in the library there, and it's a huge building. It's about 6 stories high and 100 yards long and 50 yards across, and made of massive granite blocks. And above the door it says Mobile Library. I performed this poem, and well, it was really good because there was somebody doing signing for the deaf, and it took us about an hour to do it. It was quite entertaining to watch. She was actually a beginner, and she got this huge hug from all her friends before she started, and another one at the end. I'll do another one.
Have you ever done that one without reading it, Les?
Hey?
Have you ever done it without reading it?
I never have, but I probably could do, because it doesn't really matter what I say.
Oh dear, I don't know how you got your tongue around it.
Right, here we are. The word futile springs to mind. Mission impossible. Yes, that's the attempt to harness for mankind the intelligence of cats. You've made a basic error. Now let me expound. This master-servant thing's okay, but not that way round. We don't do the faithful subject. We don't do the daily grind. You should never have attempted this. Guide cats for the blind. Give Kitty so much trust and we'll abuse the privilege. You think you're going out? You're opening the fridge. You think I'm trying to help you. I'm not serving man but mammon. You think you've gained a faithful friend. You've lost a plate of salmon. I might lead you down the high street. I'll be back when I have dined. We get very, very hungry being guide cats for the blind. It can't be very pleasant, of this I've little doubt, to have your head stuck in a cat flap with a facing in or out. You could be here a day or two with half of you out in the rain. I've got to go, I've things to do. Maybe I'll pass this way again. A dog would go for help. Cats are not that way inclined. Cats have better things to do than being guide cats for the blind. Of some matters I am ignorant, but this I know for certain. The best place for a blind man isn't halfway up a curtain. And why do they have to be up on the roof at 4 a.m? It's a perfect place for me, but what's in it for them? It was where I had to go and he just tags along behind. I don't know why. Only a fool would follow guide cats for the blind. I once met a man called Pavlov. From time to time he rang a bell. Simple things make humans happy. But I have to say that, well, I found it a disturbance, and poor chap, I think he knew it. And soon he only rang his bell when I wanted him to do it. Did you ask for our assistance? If you did, well, we've declined. Here we are, an oxymoron. Guide cats for the blind.
So, Les, will we have the song from Winter Wilson, and then we can come back to you to finish off the evening.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So you okay, Winter Wilson? Ready to go?
We are here.
I'm assuming that everybody knows who Winter Wilson are. They've been to Humfall on a couple of occasions, and we've performed a couple of their songs in our Lucy Woburn concerts.
You have,
Fabulous song. Who will remember the and Buy Myself a Lover? Buy Myself a Lover. Anyway, okay, well, I'm still hearing a bit of echo on me, but that shouldn't matter once I stop talking. So over to you.
Okie doke.
Okay.
Great, yeah, the song's called Is It True? It's up there. The
Oh,
song's
yeah.
called Is It True That His Eyes
Sorry,
Are
our
Like
screen is down here, but our camera is over there, so we
Yeah.
tend to get a bit mixed up. Hi, Guile. Do you know of a traveler called Michael? I'm told that he settled round here. Quite a lad in his day, handsome rogue, so they say. Used to wear a gold ring in his ear. He was a good one at chewing the horses. With a hammer and tack he was fine. He followed the fairs, drinking hard, trading wares. I heard tell that his eyes are like mine. I was a young thing, not yet 17. So much to learn, and yes, I was keen. Trouble, it found me as ever it does. But whatever I did it for love. 30 years, and still I am searching. I still grieve for what's taken away. What was done for the best brought peace to the rest. But for me, there's a price yet to pay. Yes, I pay a hard price every day. see my boy, please tell him I'm sorry. Maybe you're right, and I'm wasting my time. But there's never a day that I don't feel his pain. Is it true that his eyes are like mine? Please say it's true that his eyes are like mine.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Lovely. Okay, and okay. Well, then over to you, Les, to finish the evening.
Right.
Morning, evening, morning, whatever.
Right. This is one I wrote round about September, October-ish. There was a while when we were allowed to go out for walks. So I used to go out into Cheshire and wander around canals and villages out in the countryside, and I spotted what I think has become a new tradition. It's a part of the passing of seasons, where once there was bird song before. The song of late summer is coming. In August, we'll hear the great roar, as folk dance with the coming of May, and at harvest time bring in the sheaves. It's the ancient festival of leaf blowers. They'll be out rearranging the leaves. It's the call of the concept of tidy. Our streets will be filled with their sound. All weekend and Monday to Friday, they'll be moving the bastards around. You'll see them each day at their labours, hard at work in defence or attack. Some giving their leaves to their neighbours, some blowing their neighbours' leaves back. Sometimes, as I watch the leaves fall, I ponder on days such as these. Perhaps they should iron them all and stick them all back on the trees. I have studied, I listen and look. It all seems quite futile to me. I've been told that leaf blowers can suck, and I have to admit I agree. It's farewell to the fruitful and mellow. Time to cut short our autumn en masse. Be rid of the red, gold and yellow. We need to see gravel and grass. Watching leaves in this ferment of loud is a feast for the true connoisseur. Leaves that soar to the clouds at once, and then land pretty much where they were. Each year a celebration of failure. Somehow this is not the solution, as they gather with gear and regalia for the annual redistribution.
They do that in my street too, Les. They don't just do it over there in Cheshire. It's very, very common in Australia.
Yeah, yes. I think practically everybody I've read it to turns out to have got one.
Yeah. I have one, I have to confess.
Yeah. Right, shall I finish with a long one, and that'll probably do us?
Okay then, great.
Yeah, okay. As you walk the road of this life, never forget that the journey of 100,000 paces begins with a flat tire and a broken fan belt. Remember that if the brakes can't be repaired, you can always make the horn louder. And sometimes on a sunny day, let the dog drive and you stick your head out of the window. Never suffer from insanity. Enjoy it. And never criticise your fellow man until you've walked a mile in his shoes. Then if he doesn't like it, you're a mile away and you've got his shoes. And in a general store, never ask for anything in particular. And never criticise the post office. One day they may find out where you live. Learn that we never learn from the mistakes of others. Try to make them all yourself. Remember that all experience is gained just after you need it. Recognise a mistake when you make it again. It is a rare man who never makes the same mistake once. And know that you will never ever forget that which you never really needed to know. Be sure that one day the world will beat a path to your door. You'll be in the bath. And never keep small breakable items in the hallway. One day your ship will come in. Bear in mind that double negatives are a complete no-no. From time to time, you'll be told there's no such thing as a double positive. Yeah, right. Essential oils are not really necessary. War was God's way of teaching geography to George W. Bush. It's possible to play a harmonica by driving really fast and holding it out of the window. Remember that although the early bird gets the worm, the second mouse gets the cheese. Behind every successful man is a surprised woman. When you've seen one shopping centre, you've seen them all. And one day you'll learn the value of time. If time did not exist, everything would happen at once. And one day you'll look around and think to yourself, this is the place to be. It's not, it's the verb to be. And with the coming of old age, remember that if God had wanted you to touch your toes, he would have put them on your knees. If God had wanted me to eat muesli, he would have made it smell like bacon. And with the coming of old age, you will know all the answers, but nobody will ask you the questions anymore. And with the coming of old age, you will one day find a suppository in your ear. At that moment, you'll realize where your hearing aid is. And finally, as you lie alone on your bed and stare in wonder at the countless millions of stars shining in the night sky, you'll realize that only one question really matters. Where's the ceiling? Thank you.
Brilliant.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Les. What a great evening. Look, just a few things. Some of you did make a donation for Humanitix. If you didn't and you'd like to, that you can. It's still open even though the event's over. If you just click on that Humanitix link, you can buy a ticket for whatever amount you want, and it'll all go to Les. Then, secondly, I've been recording this, and it'll be up on YouTube, and I'll have it on the Humfall website, humfall.org. In the video section, it'll be there. You'll be able to find it, or you can search for it. Third thing. I meant to actually, thanks very much to our 3 guest artists. That was Bruce Watson from Melbourne and Alistair Brown and of course Winter Wilson from England. I did mean to give you an opportunity. So if you wanted to tell us something that you're doing, if you have any regular Zoom things. Bruce, did you want to quickly mention something that's coming up or?
No, not really. I'm just doing a few Zoom folk clubs here and there. I might, if anyone wants to know stuff that I'm doing, they can just look up my website and get onto my mailing list. I think that's the best thing. Everything's a little bit unclear at the moment.
Yeah. Mhm.
My website is brucewatsonmusic.com.
Great. Okay, thank you, Bruce. And Alistair, is that?
Yeah, well,
quickly?
Can I
much
just
like Bruce, I'm kind of joining Zoom sessions. I'm a regular host in our local folk club here in Redruth in Cornwall, the Dreamers Folk Club, and that we do one every Sunday for that, which is going great guns. Again, my website, that's really what I'm doing. I've been played at Humph Hall a couple of times and enjoyed it very much. A great venue, and a lot of other places. I recognise a few faces on this little patchwork quilt we have in front of me here. AlistairBrown.com is my website if you want to know more about what I'm doing. And thanks to everybody for this morning, this evening, and thanks to Les, that was absolutely brilliant. And thanks to Wayne for organising it.
Thank you. Okay, and Wendy Wilson.
Yeah, we do a regular Facebook live stream every Thursday evening for us, 8:15. So I guess that's like 7:15 in the morning for you guys. Yeah. And we do get some people from Oz and New Zealand who join us on there on our Facebook page, Winter Wilson Music. And we alternate 1 week original songs, 1 week covers. And that's been a lot of fun, actually.
It's been a lot of fun. We've done. I think last week was week 42. We was keeping this thing going, and we didn't expect to be doing it for this long. Let's be honest.
No.
But no, I mean, if you want to see any back issues of that, they're all up on our website, winterwilson.com. And thanks very much for having us. It's been a treat. Lovely to see Wayne and Guile as well.
Yeah, lovely to see you guys. And lovely to see Les too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Can I just say, Wayne, tomorrow night, 7:30, the Figgy Sessions have a Zoom. I know Bruce comes, and Alistair, I think, has been there as well. And 7:30, if you go into Figgy Sessions, I'm not the expert on the technology of it, but if you just go into Figgy Sessions, the Fig Tree Pub that's where we used to meet a year ago. And since then, we've been Zooming. If you go into Figgy Session, just come in and you can do what you like or just listen like you have here. But if you want to have a go, then you can have a go tomorrow night. And it's all a bit of fun, that's all. And thanks very much to everyone who performed, I think. I really enjoyed it. And thanks, Wayne, for organising it.
My pleasure.
Organise some more of these. I think that's great.
Well, actually, that I've been thinking just that very same thing. And I might, with some of the other people that have performed here over the last 10 or 11 years here at Humph Hall, if you want to know about those, the best thing to do is if you go to humphhall.org, and there's a link there to subscribe to the newsletter. And I know that most of the event, not that there's been many events here this year at all, but you won't be able to come to. But if you ever come to Australia, of course, please do. If you come to Sydney, come and look us up. But you'll also hear then about anything that is online as well, that's something else like this that you might be interested in being part of. So thank you very much. We had 79 people, I think, not all still here with us, but we had 79 people at the most, I think, and that's pretty amazing. I didn't really expect to get that many. So thanks again to the people that helped to spread the word about this. And so thanks at all, and thanks particularly, of course, to Les. So give Les a big.
Great, Les.
Thank you. Brilliant show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. Kyle.
Wayne,
yes.
I've got a concert coming up in London.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Yes.
Monday night at the Herger Folk Club. 7:30 their time, I think, or is it something? Or 7:45.
7:30.
For us in Australia, it will be something else in the morning on Tuesday morning. I haven't put it up on my website, but it's somewhere on my Facebook site.
What are you doing in England?
I'm doing it from here in a Zoom.
Ah.
And there's a few regulars here from the Herger Folk Club. Hello, Christine. And I saw someone else.
Did George make it?
Didn't hear the question.
George make it. The Herger. he was trying to sign in. That's when Wayne was on the phone. Young George Pamagiros was trying to join the.
It's 6:45 a.m. Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's it. Hey, it's hard to say goodbye to all these things, but I guess.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye, Les.
Bye, Chris.
Gonna start our breakfast now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter, mate.
Hey.
Brief meeting, yes.
Well,
Sheila, I didn't actually see her.
how do we turn ourselves off? You can't. You're going to be stuck here forever.
How do you leave this thing?
Well,
There should be a leave button somewhere.
it wouldn't be a bad thing, though.
Bye, Les.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
We
Good
got
night.
nowhere to go, so
No, we're just going to go to bed. How
Yeah.
boring.
We can't go out. We can't have people in.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Nice
we've
to
had
see
a
you
great
again.
night, so thank you. Good night. Take care.
All right, how do I get off this?
There's an end button somewhere. Click on end.
It says leave.
Bottom right.
Leave, that'll do. Oh, yeah. I get the end. I'd kill you all if I ended it, but I'm wanting to let you. I want to actually have a quick word to Les before you go. So hang in there, Les, will you?
Bye, Les.
bye bye, Les. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye, Wayne.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Les. Bye,
you
bye,
at
Les.
Paul
Hope to
sometime.
see you at Ely.
See ya.
Leaving meeting. Some people, I don't know, I think some of them people might have just gone and left the thing logged in there, Les. Can you hear me?
They've probably moved in with you.
Yes. Paul's still there. I can see his picture.
Yeah, very. Just wanted to say, very nice to see you, Les. You're looking good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully
It's
get
a
you down.
nice surprise to wake up every day.
Yay! We'll hopefully get you down at Orpington and
Oh, great.
Liverpool Club when we're all able to move again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see you. Thank you for organising it, Wayne.
You're very welcome, Paul. My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Anyway, Les. Great.
The rest
I'll just stop the recording now. I think. Yeah. Okay.